Hey everybody. When I say what's the deal to y'all say what's the deal to me, what's the deal?
What's the deal?
Alright, that works. My name is Deja Demings, the president of Dayton Young Black Professionals. I see all these beautiful, black, successful people up here, man. Like, we YBP and YLAG-Young Ladies Aspiring Greatness. If you want to introduce yourself, and then I can introduce you.
Hi, my name is Leah Brown. I'm here representing Young Ladies Aspiring Greatness as well as everyone on with a purple shirt. Young Ladies Aspiring Greatness is a community service-based group geared towards young African American women to expose us to what it's like to be involved in your community. And we also hear from prominent community members such as, one time Mrs. DeAndre came and spoke with us, my grandmother, occasionally Allison Brown. So yeah, Miss Sherelle's really geared towards getting us involved in the community and teaching us what it feels like to make a difference at a young age.
So yeah, they kind of like the little us, I guess you could say. Pretty much what we're trying to do. We're just trying to bring pride back into the West Side, revitalize things, retain young African Americans. As you can see, there's more to life than just what you see outside of these walls. Like, we really are successful. We really are finding things, and we are making things work. So, my profession, day by day, I am an engineer. I work at New Invasive. I'm a biomedical engineer. How you doing, Dr. Bray? You good? See, man, this is my middle school, so like, they probably see me now, like, man, you was off the chain when you was here, and now you trying to talk to somebody, they listen to you. But nah, I'm an engineer. I make artificial spinal implants for people with spinal disorders. And with that, my nonprofit, Dayton Young Black Professionals. So if y'all want to go around the table, say your name and your profession.
I'm Cheyenne. I'm with Financial Services.
I'm Cheryl with Miami Valley Works. We help with employment.
My name is Professor Erin Smith-Glenn, Central State University, Fine Arts.
My name is Courtney Greathouse. I'm a merchandising manager for Pepsi. I'm also a Navy veteran.
My name is Marissa, and I'm the owner of Anderson & Company Resume Services.
Good afternoon. My name is Jared Grandy. I'm a lawyer by trade, meaning I went to law school and graduated, but I work for the city of Dayton as a program coordinator.
Good afternoon. I'm Jared Chunky Clemens. I'm a professional football player and entrepreneur.
Hello, my name is Courtney Dorch Wright. I am a music teacher and a private voice and piano instructor.
Hi, my name is Kayla McDade, and I am a chef and owner of Nyana Eateries.
Hi, I'm Christina Mendez, and I own a consulting firm called Raymond Consulting.
Hey, I'm Darnell Payton. As you see, I'm a cop.
Hello, my name is Nikki, and I'm a licensed hairstylist.
What's good? My name is Leroy Dean. I'm a spoken word poet. I also work with Dayton Metro Library and for On Purpose Academy after school.
Hey y'all, my name is Alexis. I am a community organizer. I work on food insecurity and do a lot of political stuff.
How you doing? My name is Dave Scott. I'm the owner of the Epitome Adult Clothing and Immaculate Conception Graphics and Art.
I'm Jessica Underwood, and I am a self-taught software engineer.
My name is Deontay Compton. I am a music producer and engineer, also a business person.
Hi, I'm Ashley Williamson, and I'm a veterinarian. Right now I'm a public health veterinarian, so I don't so much work on dogs and cats that most people are used to, like in the small clinics, but I work for the USDA under Food Safety Inspection Services, and I work on making sure the animals that we eat are safe to eat.
We can actually, because it's not really a lot of us here, all DYBP can actually say their name and profession. So we'll have you start and we'll have y'all go ahead.
My name is Keith Foster, and I'm a self-taught engineer. Along with Jessica, we run Fear No Code. It's pretty much just an organization designed to get minorities in the tech.
Hello everybody, my name is Rick Cox. I work in higher ed as a higher ed professional.
Hello everyone, my name is Reggie Henderson. I work at Ladybug Services, which is a pest control company, a family business we started about 10 years ago, and campaign manager for Shanice Summersauce, who's running for Dayton City Commission.
Hey, I'm Natasha. I'm the secretary of DYBP. day by day, I work at a call center. But my real career, I'm a journalist.
Hey, I'm Jasmine Williams. I'm the owner and baker of Chico's Cheesecakes in Cincinnati, and I work at a bank in Cincinnati as an operations specialist.
All right.
I'm hard in the back. Good afternoon. My name is Omataya Ryan. I am a database administrator for Central State University's Upper Bound program. That's a free, federally funded program, pre-college. We try to get young people to take high school seriously, as well as get them to schools and well in college. I also own a small business called Chipmunk Chronicles.
He being modest, y'all. It ain't no small.
It ain't small. It's not small.
It's like, no, but the whole purpose of today is to.
We got one right here.
Oh, my bad.
Hello everyone, my name is Kobe Ross. I'm a co-owner of WRCX TV 40 as well as a financial advisor. This is my wife Shanae. She's not new.
You want to introduce yourself, Tiff?
Oh, I can. I'm Tiffany Brown. I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I run a program in DeSoto Bath called West Dayton Strong Youth and Family Program after school and summer. I'm also a YLAG mom. My daughter is Leia.
Oh,
yeah.
Why didn't I know that?
That's me.
Is that everybody?
Yeah, you're right here. Who you are?
Oh, my name is Shanita Williams. I'm currently assistant manager at Enterprise Rental Club.
So yeah, the whole purpose of today is to give you guys options or give you guys hope. Let you see that you don't have to just pick one thing and stick to it. You know what I mean? When I tell everybody, when I started college, my major was psychology, and I did not want to do that, but I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So until we have conversations like this and you guys are able to challenge or try to figure out what you want to do, you're not really going to know. I wasn't paying attention. I was a Lego kid when I was growing up. I didn't know that me tearing my PlayStation apart and putting it back together was going to make me be an engineer 15 minutes later. You know what I mean? So we just kind of want this to be personal. You know, we want to be engaged. We do want to make sure you guys are making the right decision, whatever you choose after high school. If it's a trade, if it's the military, if it's law enforcement, whatever you want to do, we just want to make sure that you are sure so you can be successful. That's why we're here. We want you guys to be successful. We want it to be easier for you to be successful. So
She makes an amazing point. I myself met many of these people at Central State. I earned my bachelor's degree in marketing. Thought I wanted to go into marketing, sit behind a desk, do all that stuff. Realized I have been in the service industry, especially the food industry, since I was 16. So this had become my passion early in life. You have time. You have choices. No one says you have to be ready today. You have all the time you need to take. I didn't start doing this until I was 27. It's the best career choice I made.
you're not really going to rock with what you're doing unless you feel it. You know what I mean? So you don't want to waste your time not doing what's not for you. It's kind of like it being forced, and nobody likes to do something that's forced. You don't even like forced relationships. You know what I mean? Y'all know we say in the post that we saying, if it's forced, ponytails, relationships, whatever, leave it alone. This is the same thing with your job. Like, this is your life. This is stuff that you're going to do. So, yeah. Where's Layla go?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's on y'all.
Okay. Okay, can I ask a question? Go ahead. For everyone that's a business owner, like, what sparked that idea? Did you guys have like an epiphany one day, or did you say, I want money?
I'm tired of working with you.
Exactly.
I'm taking a big part, but I'm there.
Yes, for me it was definitely just to wake up, and I was tired of working in restaurants where I had to be under their control without actually working for what I knew was best. So that's what made me walk away.
I think that for me, I was doing the exact same work for someone else and making a certain amount. And because I was being told that my value was connected to this amount, but I knew that the industry made way more, and that they were not going to allow me to do that, I was like, all right, well, I'm about to go get my bag by myself. And I haven't looked back.
For me, I guess it was just connections in the right places, because I'm opening a home healthcare agency in Cincinnati. So just having the connections in the right places, it just fell into my lap. And I'm big on teams because I played sports my whole life. And I put together the right team, and we just been able to make things happen.
I would say for me it was a little different. I didn't realize I was a business owner. I actually officially put a name behind it because I'm not just an art professor. I also own the Scarvin Artist, which is a creative arts company, if you will. And so it was something that I was already, like, I was just making things. It was piling up, and I was one day thinking maybe I should sell this stuff because, you know, people keep telling me I should maybe. It kind of was not like one day I just woke up and, hey, I should have a business. I didn't realize I was already a business until I decided to make it one officially. It was something that I was just already doing naturally. Like, you probably hear the term entrepreneur a lot, and I didn't realize I was an entrepreneur since I was 11 years old. I sold my first piece of art when I was 11, but I didn't realize I was an entrepreneur then. It was, you know, when I became an adult that I realized that I was an entrepreneur, you know, just my own business. And so I think sometimes people say, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to have to follow anyone's rules. I don't want to have to listen to anyone. But that also means that you have to really be your own ambitious person to say, get up, make it happen, find the grant money, write the grants. You know, you can't be that person that doesn't want to fit into different modes. You have to fit into multiple modes. Sometimes you have to be your accountant, right? You have to be your secretary. You have to make the things. You got to be your photographer sometimes until you get to a point where you can kind of branch out and let other people do it for you. You know, so in terms of being a business, for me personally, it just kind of happened naturally.
And to make sure you guys are aware, what the actual definition of entrepreneur is someone that takes their own money to risk, because it is a risk, because you don't have anything telling you that it's going to work to make their own profit.
Yes.
So that's the definition of what it means to the definition of what it means to be an entrepreneur. You're putting up your own money to make your own profit.
It's not really a question, really just to add on to her point is that, and yours as well, is that everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. So it's important that you recognize that that's not something that you feel ambitious towards, that you don't focus on trying to be that, because everybody can't fill those roles, and it's okay to have people to support those people who have those ambitions or those different type of goals, because we all have our own lanes to fill. And you can be a boss in your own right, you can be your manager in your own right with somebody else's business. You just have to make sure that you stay clear and have clear communication with the people that you work with and work for.
Also, everybody's different, so other people can be doing what you're doing, but nobody can do it how you gonna do it. So that's where entrepreneurship can also, you know, lend its hand. It allows you the freedom to do what you want to do, how you want to do it.
The best advice probably any of us can give to you up here. If you wake up and it's your passion, that's your job. That's what you want to do. That's your career.
I was writing blogs and I was trying to build websites for those blogs and it wasn't working out. And I'm like, well, how can I take my writing passion and the creative niche that I love and put it all together? And I accidentally stumbled upon coding because I was like, well, I don't like what these platforms have, so how can I do it myself? And then I just got on YouTube, rented books from the library, reached out to people in my community, and make it happen. But I don't think that it always, I mean, you may not always realize that it's your passion, but it'll just come to you out of nowhere. So I think what you said, like an epiphany, like it just, that's how it happened for me. It just came out of nowhere.
For me,
I think you have to develop things too in your life, because you may have something that you're really interested in, and it develops over time. If you have a 2-year-old child, I said this week, you give them a crayon and a piece of paper, they just gonna scribble, you know, with the colors and everything. By the time they're 7, they'll start filling in the spaces. By the time they're 14, they're thinking of ways to draw their own things. And they start developing, you take classes, you add to whatever you already have an interest in, and then by the time you're 21, you can have a career in it. You know, you can work for somebody else or even start your own. So sometimes when you don't know what your passion is right away, or whatever you have an interest in, start developing that, start doing with something with that, and then you'll find out what your passion is. And the next thing you know, you've got a career in it. And take those things seriously. It's a time to play and have fun with your friends and kick it with them. And you know, if you're in sports, be in sports. But when it comes to the books and all of that, take that seriously, because that is going to be what's going to take care of you when you get older.
And I wanted to add on to that. I know myself, like I said, I'm a resume writer, but it kind of happened as out of accident. I wanted to earn more money so I can actually go to law school. And then I started doing it and I realized, oh, I'm actually making good money from this. And then I also like the fact that I'm helping people. So just because one thing you're thinking in your head, it may go a different direction. Because I never thought I would be a resume writer, and now here I am.
So question for you guys. For the business owners, how many of you guys taught yourself the stuff that you know? And you can. Like, I taught myself too. Like, I had an epiphany. Like, I didn't know. I knew I wanted to be. Well, I didn't know I wanted to be an engineer until I got the job. But it's like with the whole Dayton Young Black Professional thing, like that was literally. I don't want to say an epiphany because I believe there's a higher power and the connection. It was there for me. I was in the right place at the right time, and it worked out. It starts from something that you really like. You know what I mean? Like, I like helping people. It's crazy because I just found an old notebook I used to write. I be writing stuff down sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I had read it, and it was from 2014, and it was saying, like, yo, in the next 5 years, I will have a nonprofit. I will work with kids. I didn't even remember it. I'm just looking at it, and I was showing my mom. She's like, so you just wrote that? I'm like, yeah. But yeah, like, discipline is the most important thing that you're going to do. You have to have accountability for yourself. Like, you can't, if you're going to have your own business, you can't expect somebody to be like, yo, get up, it's 8 o'clock, you got a meeting to get to. It's like you got to do it on your own.
I'm at like 5:30 every day.
You heard that? That's all the people that was late that just said so, like, whoo.
Time really is money.
Nah, for real.
If y'all don't mind me adding something, everyone as business owners and entrepreneurs, the story is a little bit different than mine. I was kind of forced into it. So my father owned a TV station, and so I didn't really get a choice on what I was going to do. And I was brought up in that for a while. I have another family who owns a car dealership here in Dayton, and so they told me from a little age that this is what you're going to be doing. So I didn't really think I had a choice, and what happened was good ideas, great ideas, when you're working with family, sometimes get absorbed. So it didn't matter what I came up with, we came up with it, right? So I had to step away from that, and I really stepped away really for one reason only, and that's because I couldn't identify with what I was capable of outside of what was being created around me or my environment. So I moved down to Westchester, somebody said from the Cincinnati area, went down to Westchester and started a whole new career that had nothing to do with television, had nothing to do with cars, and had to build from scratch, not being able to lean on my last name, okay? So when it comes to being an owner, in the business I'm in now, I'm also an owner there, but I had to have the accountability because I had parents and family members who were like, nah, come on, this is what we do, get up. But out there, I didn't. I didn't even have the support to be like, I'm going through a rough time, can y'all just cut me a break? So that accountability and that self-discipline is key. One of the things that I saw, and for some of you people who may feel like I wasn't a big reader, I just hated reading, I just was never good at it. But I saw a quote today that said, not all readers are leaders, but all leaders read. So one of the best things you can do and the best investment you can make, no matter what your career choice is going to be, is yourself. Yes. Pouring into yourself will be the best thing that will get you as far in life as you want to go. Okay? So that's one thing I wanted to add.
One of the things that I've been that's really been coming to my mind lately is the idea that at this point is kind of creating your own reality and understand that you do have the power to create your own reality. Of course, that reality includes a lot of other people's perceptions and stuff like that, but for the most part, you are in control of everything that you perceive and what you envision for your life. So when you're growing up, you're kind of fed a lot of the things that society already has in place, and then at some point, you realize like, okay, this is not what I want to do. This is where I want changes to be in my life, and this and that as far as your career or your personal growth and things like that, and then you start to reject things or accept certain things, and you're reevaluating what your priorities are or whatever. And so when you get to that point, you have to understand that, like they've been saying, it takes that accountability for yourself, really being grounded in your decisions and seeing that through. And the part of building your own reality is to make it kind of like a metaphor of construction for real. So when you think about construction in real life, you have a team of people who are building this bridge, this building, and it takes years for that. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work to make that happen, and that's a team of people that's doing it for you. You are creating, constructing your own reality with just yourself at guarantee. So it's going to take you years to really develop those habits, to really get that practice in order to grow and reach the goals that you're trying to get to. But I promise when you look back on even just a couple months or a year, you're going to look at so much growth that fit into that space that is going to drive you forward. So
I agree. You're going to want to
You
don't
all-
want to pursue it. If you don't want to pursue it, you will continue to do the same things over and over, literally. I changed my major 3 times in college. I changed schools twice, and I still left school without a degree. So I'm not necessarily saying that you need to get a degree. I'm not saying that you don't. You don't need to get a degree. What I'm saying is find something that you can wake up and do every day that you enjoy and get paid for. Create a career path behind it, not something that's just gonna last 5 or 6 years. I've been producing music for 14 years, 15 years, and I just had my biggest break 6 years ago, maybe. And I still have to produce on a daily basis. I still have to engineer, but I do everything. I make my own pictures, I mix and master my own music, I have my own artists, I have my own production company, I have my own record label company, and I do everything out of my own building. I don't pay anybody to do anything. I literally do everything myself because I taught myself how to do all of these things. So at the end of the day, find a profession that you love, regardless if it's art, drawing, shoes, painting somebody else's car, I don't care what it is. Find something that you want to do on a daily basis, regardless of what everybody else wants you to do. Don't make your parents happy. Don't make your friend happy. Don't make your boyfriend or your girlfriend happy. Make you happy. Because 40 years down the road, that person's not going to be sitting next to you. That boyfriend or girlfriend might not be there to support you. Your mother or your father might not be there, to watch you go across the stage. And that might not have been something that you wanted to do. I didn't want to go to college. I went to college because I had a full ride to go. My mother wanted me to go. My sister went to school, graduated with all these honors and degrees and stuff, and I wanted to try to live like my sister, try to be like my sister. It wasn't the case. Now I make more money than my sister does, and she has 4 degrees.
Well.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the students, if you have a question, to stand up so we'll know that you're ready to ask a question, okay? Go ahead, Mackenzie. Stand up, please. Speak loudly.
So my question is, you guys all said that you have to be accountable for yourself. So what do you guys do when you are feeling discouraged?
Can we talk about it?
Oh, we're going to church. Okay.
I'll say, I don't remember who said it, but one thing I would say, someone said about pouring into yourself, and that's the main thing. Like with me, I feel like I have to beat myself up like over the years, just mentally thinking about, oh, I didn't do this at a certain time, or they have gotten this far and I started before them, because I've been in and out of doing hair since I graduated from high school. I went to CTC for cosmetology, but I went to college because I thought that's what everybody do. You're supposed to go to college, and I wasted a lot of money running after a boyfriend, but whatever the case may be. So I'm still in the field of cosmetology, but then I started a nonprofit for young girls to pour into them. But at the same time, with doing that, I had to realize that I had to pour into myself, and that helps me, because sometimes I get frustrated and get discouraged and feel like I'm supposed to be at this certain spot in my life. And then I'm trying to give all this to other people because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do, and then I find myself being empty. So it's just finding inspiration through the darkness. Whatever your inspiration is, it's just, some people are spiritual, some people want to read a poem, some people want to write about it. Whatever it is, just find something every day. When you get in that mode, when I feel like I'm getting there, I try to shake it off. I find something to pour into me to make me feel, like, okay, next step, what I got to do now. I felt like this, got to move on.
With me being discouraged, I think as an entrepreneur, it's very important to, like you said, think about self-care, because you don't work with employees. I don't got no coworkers where I can be like, I gotta get this, can you help me? It's just me at my desk, all my kids are at school, it's just me. So with me, I have to keep myself surrounded with multiple things. It's not just one. I listen to podcast after podcast. I try to keep something playing at all times to keep my mind. If my mind drifts to something, then I got that podcast playing where I can listen to that. I burn candles all day during the day. Because it's very, there's a psychology to your senses. I don't miss church. I don't. I know that's, everybody may believe in something different. I cannot miss church. Like, it's not a non-negotiable. I do not go to church on Sunday. My whole week is just done. I can't. I tell people all the time that I'm not the person you see in front of me. I used to be, I was already wild, okay? And so to keep from being who I used to be, I have to have a whole bunch of positivity around me. So I tell, like my friends, like they know, like I've only got to like sermon 3 today, y'all. I'm gonna have to call y'all back. I literally gotta listen to 5 sermons a day to just stay where I'm at, and to keep me there. And I find that now that I have that, I don't get discouraged as much as I used to because I know what works for me. So I think another thing that comes with not falling into a dark place is having boundaries and keeping to your own personal boundaries. Somebody called it a personal policy. So I have a personal policy, like don't call me during these hours because I'm listening to sermons and I'm playing music. Don't call me. I need this time for me. And if you interrupt, you might get somebody else.
What you gonna say, Jared?
No, for me, I tend like being in my field. I think it's the most competitive field in the world. Being a professional athlete, and it's always somebody judging you. And like I'm judged every day on everything I do, from when I walk outside to when I get on the field to when anything that I do. So when it's everything just building up, I rely on my faith and I rely on people who are in my background, been in my corner for years. At the same time, I do a lot of my things is music. Take Me to the King when I'm feeling some type of way. That's my go-to every time. I'm feeling some type of way, I turn that on and I just work out. Work out and just get a lot of physical frustration out. Just rely on people because you got to have good people around you and that will keep you accountable. And that's why I learned just through sports that the accountability is the biggest thing. As a man, especially as a black man, I got to be accountable for everything that I do. I got to be able to say I did it and I got to be ready for the consequences. So while doing that, I just keep a great team around me. I keep some good music on. I just try to immerse myself in the craft.
Can I say something? I would definitely say affirmations. Every morning I get up and I turn something on YouTube to either affirmations or motivational speakers. And then when you get to a point where you feel like, okay, this is where I want to be in life, write your own affirmations down and record them and listen to them daily. That's another thing that I do. Write them down, get them ingrained in your head because at the end of the day, it's you and you have to believe in yourself. So.
I think if you continue to like tell yourself why, like if I'm getting discouraged and I lose focus, I just have to sit back and be like, okay, why are you even doing this in the first place? And if you can answer that and like really have a good reason why, and like, you know, I think that it'll get you on track every time. Because like for me, I look at my kids and I'm like, I want them to be able to see that their mom did this, you know, while taking care of 2 babies. And I don't have the hardest life. I'm very blessed, but I do have my own struggles. And I think that when you come back and you humble yourself and you grind yourself and you be like, okay, like he said, like I went through different majors. I went to school. My parents wanted me to go to college because they didn't go. And they, you know, I have them in my ear telling me like, okay, this is a certain way. We believe in you, but this is what you should be doing. You should have a job before you get here. You should do this. You know, I can't do things the way they want me to do it. But like I said before, if you can tell yourself, okay, this is why I'm doing this, and have a clear vision, you'll be okay every time.
She just said something very key. She cannot do something the same way somebody else is going to do it. Remember that. You guys are growing up in the best technology age there's been. You have all access to everything. There is nobody to stop you. Just remember that. Nobody to stop you.
I think as far as encouragement too, sometimes we have to, or discouragement, I think sometimes we have to look at self. For example, I'm an assistant manager at Enterprise Rent Car. People think, oh, you just rent cars. That's literally probably 30% of my day. What Enterprise is teaching me is to eventually have my own business. I market, I have to understand how many cars I have, how many cars are on the road, how much am I making, if there's cars on my lot, how much am I losing. Customer service is 100%, the most important thing. But as of right now, I'm trying to be a branch manager where when you go into that business, that branch manager, that's their business. So when they decide to retire, they decide to do something else, they know exactly all the avenues of how to run their own business. So one thing that's, I think, discouraging for me in my process right now is I've applied for multiple different branches, branch manager positions, and I haven't gotten it. And I've gotten the feedback about, okay, these are the things you need to do, boom, I do that. The next interview, I mastered it. Okay, this is the thing that you need to do, boom, I do that, I mastered it. And then it's like the third interview where I'm at now is that advice that you were told wasn't the best advice. This was the best advice. So after a while, you get discouraged because right now, I'm the only
Black person in my branch, and I'm the only woman in my branch. So I have to work twice as hard, but I also have to look at self. So I have to keep great energy around me in order to stay encouraged. Having a mentor is very important. It's not your mom, it's not your friend, it's not your boss, because you really can't tell your boss how you're really feeling without them judging, well, maybe this is not for her, or maybe she's not ready, because you're just expressing how you feel. So the most important thing to stay encouraged, I think for me, is having great energy around you, having people that are going to be brutally honest, but you can understand that that's coming from a great place, not, oh, she's hating. It's okay. Let me take a look at the mirror. So every time I don't get those positions, I say, okay, I'll get your feedback, but Shanita, what can you do now? And there's always something that I can do to better myself to get prepared for that next one. So that's how I stay encouraged, by having positivity around me and a great mentor.
So I wanted to add something, because a little bit on the other counter side of that. When it comes to discouragement for me, I'm more motivated by fear than I am by positivity. So for me, what I do is if I start feeling discouraged, and in my business, I have to make calls, and appointments, and do stuff. But sometimes I have to tell myself and almost trick myself into doing the things I don't want to do. Okay, because I am discouraged. So I'm like, well, if I don't make this phone call, then my kids don't eat tonight. Or I make some extreme thing that drives me through whatever obstacle is discouraged me in the first place. But I practice something called the pain and pleasure principles, which means I'm using pain to motivate me, but on the other end of that, I'm saying if I make this phone call and it goes great, it's going to be the call that I needed to make that changes everything for me. So I'm keeping myself, I feel like in business, people are always running towards their goals, but you get there a whole lot faster when you feel like someone's chasing you, right? So I put something behind me every chance I get to be like, oh man, if I slow down now, I won't make it. I'm gonna get there regardless, but I gotta worry about what's behind me. And so that's kind of how I get through discouragement. It's not necessarily positive.
I think too, one thing that we have to realize, and I tell myself every day, and I tell my students, you have to be okay with saying mistakes are okay as well. I think in today's society, social media has placed a lot of responsibility, a lot of like baggage on our backs, and we have to carry all this weight, and we can't be okay with making mistakes. But you have to come back to that human side of yourself and be like, okay, I did make a mistake. Where do I go from here? And I'm okay with making that mistake because it's okay. Everything is not going, you're not going to have success 24/7. Yeah, you know, so just be okay with making mistakes. Mistakes are okay. That's all.
So as far as like with discouragement and things like that, I think you should acknowledge it, but don't live in it. Don't dwell on it. Don't hold on to it. Just acknowledge what it is and then realize, find the root of what the problem is and realize that that's not gonna be you. You're stronger than whatever it is that's coming to you right then. I mean, this discouragement and all that is temporary, but your success, you're gonna feel so much more proud. And growth happens in such uncomfortable situations that you have to be able to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, or you'll never grow.
Uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, that means it's time to push through.
But like Beyonce said, you let yourself feel something for 24 hours and then you
let it go. Oh, that's what she said?
Yeah, she did. If you watch Homecoming, it's on Netflix, it's streaming now. Everybody go out there and watch that.
Party and then it's done.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, proud behind you.
Party called it done. And we gonna let Aaron.
Proud behind you.
And then we had a question.
And then we gonna go to your question.
I'll be quick, but I just wanted to say that I realize everyone has their faith and spirituality. I definitely am a Christian, but I find that even when I was young, and I didn't really recognize it until I was older, but I always found that whenever I was going through worst of times, I found solace and solitude in my work. I always was really good at using my work to push me through, so it was like the hard time came and I worked harder, which is usually kind of an odd thing for most people. You know, like through the divorce, through having to raise 3 kids by myself, through, you know, having to be a professor. I think sometimes students will see you and, you know, they lay your problems on you, and or that, you know, they kind of look at you like nothing's going wrong with you because you're here. and you're doing this and you walk in and you're like in mode, you know? But sometimes before you get into that door, you're going through some things. But when you're in that classroom or when you're advising students, when you're meeting with students, when you're having professional business meetings, you know, when I'm doing my business on the side, you have to shut things off. You have to I have to sometimes tell myself, okay, this class is 2 hours, and once it's over, I can go back to whatever it is that was bothering me before. So I find that when the pressure is on, I kind of do really well with that. My mom always told me God honors a press. Like when you press through things, He really honors that. And so if you could, you know, understand that sometimes it's during those worst times that you got to tell yourself, just do the next thing. Whatever that next thing is, just do it. Because I think one thing we all have in common up here is that no matter what happened, we still found a way to make things happen. No matter what happened, we still made whatever was our priority happen. It may take you longer or a shorter time, but every person up here has found some way to get through whatever was the hardest point in their life, right? So I think that's what we all kind of have in unison, you know. So.
Yes, I would say self-development is the best thing that you can do when you feel discouraged. I'm new to entrepreneurship, so what I try to do is absorb myself into my profession, finances. So on my social media, I have tons of financial people. So anytime I scroll down, it keeps me absorbed in there. Entrepreneurs, I just try to add as many entrepreneurs as I can so I can remember what my focus is, because the more that you're knowledgeable, the more confident you are, so the less discouraged that you can be.
Has there ever been like a point in your career where your morality was questioned, and how did you go about dealing with that?
We black. Sorry, man, I really didn't even mean to say that out loud. But realistically speaking, all right, so we can be honest with each other, right? Y'all have to, whatever you want to do, y'all gotta go 10 times harder than anybody else. Unfortunately, that's just the way things go.
Right here.
Yeah, he said the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you do that.
He can tell you. I can attest to his story for real.
All right, so I'm a black cop. How many black cops do you see?
Just you.
We got a couple. So I work in an all-white city. Wow. I'm the only black guy there. There's no black families. It's just me. You see a lot of stuff that's wrong in police work. You see a lot of stuff that might be right. Morality is questioned when my partner does something to somebody that I don't personally agree with. But do I save myself, do my job, or do I say something? So like, I've had a situation where a white guy put a gun on us, but I know it would have ended different if it was a black guy. So my job and morality gets questioned daily. Especially when you're the only black guy. You got to worry about how they gonna mess with me.
And he's the only black guy in his industry too, because it's been a struggle for you to become a cop.
Yeah.
And he's not even dealing with what I was saying right now, like even just with you being a cop, but people even be like, why do you want to be a cop?
You black.
Like why? Why do you want to do that?
You black. You're supposed to help me out.
Right. So he's gotten it a lot of different ways, and there's been a lot of doors that have been closed for he to even get here. I personally know that.
Yeah. Hold on, before you ask your question, let me let these two speak, and then we go to you.
No problem. So I'll just say, like, as a young professional, one of the things that I've learned is that morality is like subjective to who is making a decision on what's moral, what's right or wrong in the moment. And that was really tough for me coming out of like high school, because I feel like you create that list of like what's right, what's wrong, and then you move forward with that list. And when you get to a place of dissonance where you like understand like, no, but that's wrong, and somebody's telling you, but and you're like, wait, what? Like for years I've subscribed to this being right and this being wrong. And so you'll find yourself, making a lot of, not necessarily mistakes, but like learning that there's a bunch of nuances to life. And so when I was your age, one of the things that I did not know is I thought everything was like black and white. You do this, you go to college, you'll get a job. You'll get a job, you'll get promoted after you stay there. You know, you stay a good person, nobody will ever have anything negative to say about you.
Yeah.
None of that's the truth, right? Everything has nuances, right? There'll be people who don't deserve to move forward who will move forward. There'll be people who work less than you who will get more than you. And none of that, you have to get to a place, and that takes years. That's gonna take some time. That's just gonna take some maturity. It's gonna take some tears. That's gonna take some journaling. That's gonna take some great friends to tell you it's not you, right? To breathe back into you. But then you'll get to a point where none of that matters. Somebody will get a promotion that don't deserve it, and you'll be like, way to go, right? And you'll know when yours is coming. And when yours is coming, you'll just walk into it. And so like, I just want you all to hear that they'll get to points and times in your life where you're like, this don't make sense. Like, they didn't teach me this. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't have this key, right? And we all got to there. But like, when you get there, I want you to be like, oh, like they said I would get here. A lot of us internalize and go, wow, that was me. That's my fault. I'm not good, all right? And we would go into like depression. And I wish somebody would have told me like, no, this is gonna happen.
What's for you is always gonna be for you.
Yeah.
I don't care if 50 people are doing what you're doing.
I want to kind of on the other question of this too, when you get discouraged, I'm a minister, okay? So first of all, my strength comes from God. I do not leave my house without praying or getting at least one word, anointing myself, because I don't know what I'm going to face that day. Okay, so that is where I get my strength and my energy from. And not only that, I get my guidance from the Word. You know, when I go to the Word, God always gives me something that's going to, He kind of sets the stage because He knows what's going to happen through that day or even through that week. And then, you know, when I get there, if I get mad about something, then boom, He goes, I just told you that. And then I just calm down and I'm like, okay, He already got me. So that I use when I get discouraged because I already know whose I am. I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. The second thing I wanted to say is when you're talking about morals, you've got to have some integrity. Integrity is who you are when nobody is looking. So it doesn't matter whether y'all see me do anything or not. You know, I'm a single woman, and I've been told I look okay. I've never been married. But, you know, that don't mean that I have other things going on. I just am who I am. I'm a child of God. That's who I chose to be. And people say a lot of things, and you can usually tell what they think by the way they treat you. I've learned that over the years. They don't have to say anything. A lot of times I know what they're thinking. But that doesn't determine who I am. I know who I am. I know the walk that I've chosen with the Lord. He called me to the ministry. I couldn't believe that, but He did. Okay, but what I'm saying on top of all of that is have some integrity. No matter what, decide who you're going to be, no matter what anybody else says, and walk by that. And even if it's ever challenged, if you follow this, and this, you follow His rules, you know who you are, you don't have anything to worry about because He will back you up.
One thing. So on a morality standpoint, I came into the NFL my rookie year, it was 2017, and Kaepernick just took a knee, right? And everybody, all the things happening with black men in the community and all that, everybody calling me like, man, what you gonna do? And morality wanted me like, man, I should do it too, but at the same time, I'm a small cog, I'm a small piece in this enormous machine. So at the same time, it's hard sometimes, you gotta be professional. You can't always do what you wanna do, because you gotta be professional with what you have to. I gotta feed my family. I gotta take care of my mom. There's things that I gotta do. So I can do that, and it's the right thing to do, and I believe in everything that Kaepernick is doing, but at the same time, they can bring in somebody else to do my job the next day. So.
Morality-wise, I've dealt with a lot of stuff like that at my regular job, but not as much until I got into community organizing. Yeah, Alexis knows. Leroy, Dave, you guys are from the city. Y'all know Dayton is West Side, East Side. Period. That's it. The whole reason I started this organization was to be able to bring resources that the West Side wasn't getting, that we could have, that we should have, bringing it here because they don't have it for us. So every day, working with people that are in the city and stuff like that, like, it's always a morality thing. Like, everything is supposed to be for everybody, but it's always harder for us. You know what I mean? Like, the reason why we're here is to make it easier for y'all, but that's just how life goes. You had another
question. I just want to say real quick on the side of, because I don't work for myself and I work for other people, and I'm also a supervisor. And I just want to let you know, when it comes to morality and us being who we are, documentation is key. Just because, like, you know, you do what's right behind closed doors, sometimes it is very wise of you to document things that you're doing. If someone tells you to do something that you don't completely agree with, document that you ask, hey, am I getting a direct order from you to do this thing that I may not agree with? Documentation, I would say that. And also, like, as far as like morality, once you become, like, if let's say you become a supervisor, documentation is always key, because you will have people that will see, like, if you're young, you're black, you're a female, that will come after you, even if you haven't done anything wrong. So that's one thing. Document. Write things down if you need to.
Yeah, what's your question?
Are you respecting your field since you're so young?
Say it again.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna start this one off. No, I'm the only black woman that's an engineer at my job, and I've been an engineer for like 5 years now. Since I graduated, I'd already been able to be a manager. So talking to people that were working for me that were 40, 50. Man, I'm not about to listen to no 17-year-old black kid. Stuff like that. But as time goes on, you just gotta prove yourself, man. You gotta step on their necks.
Right. Working, me, like I said, I've been working in the food industry since I was 16. At 21, I was a general manager of a place. I had employees who were 10 times older than me. Did not want to listen to me. I was 21, running, making over $40,000, $50,000 a year. No one's gonna respect you straight off the bat. No. You gotta earn your respect, but also demand it at the same time. If you know what you're qualified to do, you will make sure people know, this is what I'm qualified to do. You will respect what I'm doing. And if you have a suggestion, I'll gladly listen.
You know, at the same time, the respect doesn't have to say respect me. Respect, you know, when you walk into a room, I mean, you should have some kind of command over it eventually. You know, just kind of your presence, what you bring to the table. I would say that starting as a professor at age 25, I was more uptight because I was young and I was a female, and being a classically trained artist when you're young and black and female is quite rare, especially, you know, I'm like the 1%, less than 1% in my field, even at this age. And now, almost 10 years in, you know, I would say that I've loosened up. I don't feel the need to walk in and, you know, I was like more demanding of respect and not really getting it as much, I think, because I felt like I needed to come in. And still today, I'm the only female professor in my department, and I'm still the youngest in my department. And those are things that I've learned to forget about over time, because there's other things that you kind of realize are a little bit more priority, you know, like getting the information to people, making sure you're fulfilling your job qualities. And if you're really doing that, if you're not worried about, I'm young, I'm black, I'm female, I'm the less than 1%, and you're just going and you're just doing the job and you're finding ways to be innovative, and you're, you know, I'm almost 10 years in, but I teach the same classes but in unique ways to meet the technology demand. As an artist, even, you got to meet the technology demand, you know, in your classroom. And so if you kind of get rid of the fact that I need people to respect me, but you're respecting yourself by making sure that you are doing what you should be doing for your respective field, then you don't need to command it. You walk into the room and you walk in, and respect is just already waiting for you, you know?
And it's more so like actions speak louder than words. You don't have to tell someone, you gotta respect me, you gotta respect me. Because really, it just should be something that's natural. You know, with enterprise, they strive for having younger employees. Like, I'm to the point now where on graduation day, after the person shakes the hand with the dean, I'm gonna be there with my business card, like, come see me at Enterprise. Exactly, so they have internships that are there, so they're asking all the people that are younger to come there. So, you're used to working with someone that's, you know, fresh out of college. This might have been their first, and it's a career. Enterprise is a career. It's not like your McDonald's or your call center, you're this, you're that. So they're having to automatically be looked at as the future of that business. And they have this program that they do every month where based off of your sales, you know, their rewards, you give you a reward, they'll take you out to eat, get you a couple drinks, things like that. I've been there literally 14 times. So there's no reason for you to not respect me. But I don't have to go in and say, look at my numbers, you gotta respect me. You know my name because you constantly see me there every month. You know, you constantly know that I'm gonna be here again. And for me, I just like to go and get the free meal because they pretty expensive when they want to take it. So for me, I'm like, the word is cool, but at the end of the day, I don't have to say I gotta demand it. It's automatic because I'm showing an improvement.
We got 2 more and then we go break into the tables. It's the career field is on the table, so if you want to go talk to people individually and ask some questions, get some gems, we can do that for y'all. Go ahead, Johnson.
All right, so it's kind of reversed for me. I deal with people every day, all ages. I get more respect from older people, but I still got some older people that just look at me like I'm not about to listen to no little kid who think he got a badge and can tell him to do. But those are just old people that should set in their ways. I get more disrespect from younger people because they look at it like we're around the same age. Who are you telling me to do? So my respect comes from older people.
Really for me, I'm gonna speak on the aspect of like just not even just being young, but being an artist in general. It's hard for artists to really get respect, and even if we do get respect for our art, it's hard to get us respect enough to get paid our price that we want, because it's like the whole world wants art, everybody wants art, but nobody really wants to pay for it for real. Exactly. And then so like also being young, it's like you gotta struggle, especially in a city like Dayton, where we like in the middle of this culture rebirth for real. You know what I'm saying? You have to. It's like you gotta struggle around your city, outside your city, and make it outside your city before your own city even looks at you and says like, oh yeah, they from Dayton or whatever, this and that, and really gives you that respect and pays the price that you want. So it was said before, but really like demanding your respect, really knowing, being confident in your craft and what you do and knowing what you deserve. Like you put in this work to be where you at. It don't matter if your journey was different from somebody else's, you still know you put in the work. So, you know, be confident enough to speak out for that and no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, we're gonna let you do yours, and we actually, after you, we go break into the table.
Okay. Hi, my name is Lorraine Younger, or YLAG. I have a couple questions, actually, really quickly. So, for like people who are like God-fearing or whatever, I know that I do like a lot of scripting in the morning. I journal. I like manifest a lot. So, do you guys do that? Like, did you do that in your journey?
Speaking of right.
Okay. Also, I know like I get a lot of opportunities, which I'm really blessed for. But my problem is like all those opportunities don't always follow. I don't believe they follow my path, but I know that God said stuff for you. And so did you guys ever have like an experience where somebody told you, they gave you an opportunity and you had to decline that opportunity, or did you take it, just kind of see where it took you, or?
You know what? I'm sorry, I have to say this because teaching at a liberal arts college, there's times where students have to take classes that just are not very attractive. But you still have to make sure you take that seriously. There's a reason why things are set in place as a system. And if you don't have to respect everything about it, but you should respect the fact that it's there for a reason. And so sometimes you might enter into something thinking, oh, I guess I'll just do this to appease whoever and I'll just do it to get it over with. But you might learn something from that that might feed what it is that you really want to do. And it comes as a total surprise to you. So the one thing I'll say is, whenever you are faced with a responsibility, whether it's something you want to do or not, do it to the best of your ability, because you never know how much you might need that in the future. And sometimes your ideas change because your brain isn't even fully developed until you're 25 years old. And so many times people are told, you're 18, you go to college, and then they get there and they're lost and they're, you know, you got the high suicide rates. I got people always talking about how depressed they are, and it seems like every year it's just going up and up and up because people are being forced to make these major decisions that are supposed to last you up until you're like 80 years old, but you're 18 years old, you know, so the only thing I can say is, it doesn't matter really what you want to do in life. It doesn't matter what your career goals are. It's just that whenever you are faced with a responsibility that you have to do it to the best of your ability, even if you don't want to do it, just do it and do it well.
And if you do what every one of us are telling you to do, you're doing the work. When you have an opportunity that does not align with you, I've had some big money on the table that I literally cried because I really wanted that. But it didn't go with who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm gonna go for and what I'm not gonna go for. So a company came to me and said, we want you to market a product in this area, and I know that this product in this area is what's harming my people. I'm gonna have to turn that bag down, no matter how much that could save me for that check could have saved me for 3 years. But I know who I am, and you have to stand for something, or you're gonna fall for anything. So if you're doing everything that we're all telling you to do, when that opportunity comes along, you're not even gonna have that guilt, because I can see you're struggling with some guilt. Like, nah, that ain't for me. And you're gonna be done with it, and you're gonna have peace about it.
Another one of your friends, you may be like, oh my God, this sounds great.
Oh, right.
Have you met Jasmine? Jasmine, come here, right? And that may be the pass off, like, honestly. And that's the reason why it's important to keep these friendships. I know that there's people in line, but YLAG, like, whatever you all do, don't see this as like something in high school and like, I'll see those girls another time. There are people I was in school with that are doing major things right now. And I wish I would have celebrated them more when I was younger and was their cheerleader at that point in time, and that we would have stayed friends. Because now that I'm an adult, I'm like, wow, I see you. And I never saw you because I was so worried about like being in competition with you. Y'all got the rest of the world. Y'all are from Dayton, from this area. Y'all should be taking on things and tagging team left and right. Every time you get an opportunity that's not for you, hey, YLAG, anybody interested in so-and-so? Somebody just asked me for something. Put each other on for the rest of y'all lives. Y'all never know what that'll do.
You should be on panel. Moral of the story, believe in yourself, have self-confidence.
Follow that dream.
Follow your dreams.
Your self-interest is like.
Remember that flowers don't grow overnight. Don't stress yourself out if you're not doing exactly what you want to do. It takes time. I didn't figure out what I was going to do until I was 26 for real. It takes time. We're going to break off into the tables now, so we'll do our thing.